GrabCar said it had removed the 30-year-old GrabCar driver who had allegedly raped a female passenger. The company's country head, Sean Goh, said, quote, "We regret that there has been an incident reported on June 11th when a GrabCar driver had allegedly sexually assaulted a passenger. The news is deeply distressing and our priority now is to assist and provide support to the passenger and her family," unquote. He also said he is truly sorry that Grab has let down its users and community. The rape suspect allegedly assaulted the drunken 29-year-old passenger during her ride home near Sri Kembangan early Sunday morning. He is remanded for 6 days to assist police investigation.
The law defines sexual harassment as unwelcome verbal, visual, or physical conduct of a sexual nature that is severe or pervasive and affects working conditions or creates a hostile work environment. Conduct of a sexual nature is broken into three parts: verbal, visual, and physical. Verbal includes comments about clothing, a person's body, sexual or gender-based jokes or remarks, requesting sexual favors or repeatedly asking a person out, sexual innuendos, threats, spreading rumors about a person's personal or sexual life, or foul and obscene language. Visual includes posters, drawings, pictures, screensavers, cartoons, emails, or text of a sexual nature. Physical includes assault, impeding or blocking movement, inappropriate touching such as kissing, hugging, patting, stroking, or rubbing, sexual gesturing, or even leering or staring. There are two categories of sexual harassment. The first is quid pro quo, which literally means this for that. It occurs when a boss uses job rewards such as raises or promotions or punishment such as demotions or firing to force employees into a sexual relationship or sexual act. The second is hostile environment, which is defined as conduct that unreasonably interferes with work performance or creates an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment. For example, it may be sexual harassment if repeated sexual comments make someone so uncomfortable that their work performance suffers, or they decline professional opportunities because it will put them in contact with the harasser. In both types of harassment, employees must prove that the conduct was offensive to someone, not necessarily the intended victim of the harassment. Here is an example. Say a male employee tells a dirty joke to a female coworker. She thinks it's funny, but a second woman passing by finds it offensive. That joke could contribute to a hostile environment claim simply because someone finds it offensive. There are two conditions that determine liability for employers in cases of hostile environment sexual harassment. The employer knew or should have known about the harassment, and the employer failed to take appropriate corrective action. Having a training program as well as a clear procedure for reporting harassment claims can shield employers from expensive lawsuits.
So now I would like to talk about the cause of sexual misconduct. Poverty is one of the causes of sexual misconduct. Statistics show that poverty increases people's vulnerabilities to sexual exploitation in the workplace, school, and that people with the lowest socioeconomic status are at greater risk of violence. Next, gender-based stereotype reinforced inequality between genders is one of the causes of sexual misconduct too. For example, in a society where men are portrayed as being aggressive and women are seen as passive, a man who pressured a woman for sex is often perceived as behaving acceptable. It can be seen in pop culture and media. Next, alcohol and drugs is one of the causes of sexual misconduct. Consuming alcohol and drugs makes it more difficult for people to protect themselves by interpreting and effectively acting on warning signs. Having previously been raped or sexually abused is one of the causes of sexual misconduct too. A national studies of violence against women in the US found that women who were raped before age 18 were twice as likely to be raped as an adult. Lastly, educational level will affect sexual misconduct. Educational level will affect one's mindset and thinking skills. It will change one's perspective in viewing things. Education will strengthen one's maturity and affects what an individual's act to. A lower educational level will most probably cause the individual to be involved in sexual misconduct, as knowledge gained by the individual is not enough. They couldn't think wisely and reason.
The effects of sexual misconduct are victims will undergo emotional reaction, for example, anxiety, shock, and anger. Next, they will also inflict physical harm on themselves, usually in secrets. Sexual violence can affect survivor in many ways, including possession of body and feelings of control. The effects of sexual misconduct also include sleep disorder. Symptoms of sleep disorder can include trouble falling or staying asleep, sleeping at unusual time, or sleeping for longer or shorter than usual. Next, the effects of sexual misconduct are the victims will have changes in self-perception. They'll have negative self-concept and also lack of competency. They are fear of new people and the situation. In careers effect, they'll have changes in their work habits. They might also lose their job or promotion. For students, the effect of sexual misconduct includes having troubles studying or paying attention in class. Thank you.
Sexual misconduct, another legal term, is called rape. A man is said to conduct rape when he has sexual intercourse with a woman under circumstances which is against her will, without her consent, or with her consent but her consent is put under fear. Punishment for rape is 20 years of imprisonment or so he shall be liable of whipping. This punishment is under section 376 of Penal Code. Thank you. Are you aware of the sexual misconduct happening in Malaysia? Yes, I'm aware.
How do you think sexual misconduct happens?
Maybe young girls they go to the town at night or go to dark places, maybe there's less of control of the police. So how do you think we can prevent sexual misconduct from happening? Maybe we should increase more keep our record social so that we have to help each other. Okay. Thank you. Hi. Okay, sure.
Are you aware that sexual misconduct is happening in Malaysia?
Yes.
In your opinion, why does sexual misconduct happen?
I think that mostly it's because of the Malaysian culture here. Because many of the youngsters today, they are influenced by the Western ways of wearing their attires. Some can be quite revealing, so this can lead to sexual misconduct.
So, in your opinion, what are the ways to prevent sexual misconduct from happening?
I think one of the most effective ways is like family upbringing. So it's like very important for a family to bring up your child the right way, the way they wear, the way their attire should be proper, this.
Okay, thank you.
Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about tips for preventing sexual misconduct. It is important to know that rape can happen to anyone and it is never the victim's fault. So, the main reason for sexual misconduct is drinking. Therefore, you should drink smart. The first tip is you should never let your drink out of your sight to prevent your drink being spiked by date rape drug. Besides, you should also inform your friends or your parents before you go out drinking. Therefore, they can give you a ride if you are feeling not well. We should also never accept drinks or share our drinks with strangers. Furthermore, we should charge our phone and we should keep our phone with us whenever we need to use it on emergency. Besides, we should know that relationship is also a big factor in sexual misconduct. We should set our sexual limits with our partners and remember that consent is crucial for partners. If your partner sexual misconduct is you should avoid walking alone to isolated place, and if you are being followed, be sure to go to crowded places so the person can lose track of you. You should also beware of when you are driving to do not pick up hitchhikers. Okay, so if you want to help the victim of sexual misconduct, you should report their cases to authorities. That's all from me. Thank you.
There are several types and examples of sexual misconduct, which includes dating violence, sexual violence, sexual harassment, sex discrimination, and stalking. First, dating violence is an abuse that includes physical, sexual, mental, and emotional abuse. It is committed by a person over their partner in a dating relationship. For example, a Malaysian DJ, Lenyan, was abused by her boyfriend, and this has caused physical harm to her. To my next point, which is gender discrimination. Gender discrimination happens when there are no equality between men and women. This may happen in workplace where men have been paid more salary than women, a job both men and women have the same ability. In China, most families put their importance on male children, which they thought are more valuable than female children. My third point is sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is an act that are inappropriate toward others, which include catcalling. Catcalling happens where a guy whistling to a girl passed by them. Besides, a person who sends sexual image to strangers or to other person is said to commit sexual harassment. Sexual violence is also a type of sexual misconduct. Sexual violence is an sexual coercion or abuse by strangers, caregivers, or even family members. There are some cases in Malaysia where sexual violence happens between family members. For example, in Kelantan, a father raped her 10 years old daughter and has been jailed for 18 years. Another cases happened to 20 years old girls who live in fear of father have been raped by her father for more than 4 years. Moving to my last point, which is stalking. Stalking happens where a person following another person against his or her wish and cause them distress. In Malaysia, stalking is not a crime where there are no any actions that can protect victims from being stalked. For instance, a Malaysian victim was stalked by her ex-husband and now attacked by him. She has made 23 police reports, but there was still no any basis for police to take actions until the woman has been attacked by her ex-husband.
In the streets of London, Mumbai, Washington, or Laos, the recent outpouring of women using #MeToo has showed the uniformity of the problem, irrespective of culture and country. Numbers are similar in neighbouring Bangladesh, where 84% of women in an ActionAid survey had experienced belittling comments of sexual advances in public. More than half said they had been harassed by people from public transportation, and more than half of women estimated to have experienced physical or sexual abuse by a partner. To the east of the continent in Cambodia and Vietnam, for example, the problem continues with more than 3 in 4 women experiencing harassment and sexual remarks. More than 40% of women reported feeling unsafe in public where many young men gather, and this does not even include countries in neighbouring regions.
#MeToo, a movement against sexual harassment and misconduct. It has been a main talking point since October 2017. It went viral after the New York Times published a news report regarding allegations made against Harvey Weinstein. He was accused of sexual misconduct by more than 80 women, especially female actresses. He was later then been fired by his own company and his wife left him. All credit to Alyssa Milano for jumpstarting this hashtag on social media. By the end of the day, it went viral. 200,000 tweets were made by people that expressed their experience of being sexually harassed. What are your thoughts on the MeToo movement?
Yes, against sexual harassment.
Yes.
For me, I really saya sangat menyokong lah. I really support that thing, and it's because that we are going towards like kemajuan bersama. So we need that. It unites us as a country. It unites us as Malaysian, and for me it's very good because there will be no any macam perempuan tak takut bila kerja, and then lelaki pun ada je yang kena kan. So macam every gender tu rasa safe bila dia kat public. So macam it's very good for our Malaysian to move forward together.
So you rasa it's beneficial lah?
It's beneficial and it unites us as
Wow! Oh, okay, thank you. Here are some lists of powerful men who has been accused of sexual harassment besides Harvey Weinstein: Kevin Spacey, Donald Trump, George H.W. Bush, David Blaine, Bill Cosby, and many more.
He then put his hand over my mouth and kept telling me, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And he pulled my pants down. And I think my body went numb.
I was wearing a floor-length skirt, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers t-shirt, and an olive green hooded sweatshirt and a pair of Puma sneakers when I was raped on my dorm room floor.
Around the age of 5, that's when I began to experience sexual assault. And this guy I was looking at throughout the night came and offered me a drink. And he was about 14, 15 years old. The next thing I remember was being on this mattress.
And as I went to open the front door of my car, he put his hand on it and said, stop, and then grabbed me by the back of the shirt and pulled me into the back seat.
That's when he just took the icing off the cake and raped me as a child. And he kept on telling me how much I liked it and how much I enjoyed it.
I just remember sitting in the shower for 4 hours, just trying to get clean.
It took me years to forgive myself and tell myself that I did not let that happen. Girls, boys, are killing themselves.
And so we have to dispel the myth that this is a gender issue. This is a power issue.
It's a type of violence that gets in and destroys you slowly.
I didn't even think that I was lovable anymore. I'm dirty. Why would you want to be with me? I've been discarded.
There was a point in my life when the grief was just too much. I started the act of trying to hang myself, and to hear myself choking, I couldn't get past it.
I don't want a pity party this happened to me, but I got through it.
I got into therapy. I have a therapist. I'm in group therapy. It's still really, really, really hard. It's something that has defined me as a woman today, and it will continue to define me, but in all of the amazing ways, none of the negative ways.
I want to make it very clear that every single survivor's story is different, and for me, I don't deal with this on a daily basis.
Sexual assault takes years, if not a lifetime, to heal from.
It is possible to heal. We have to do it on our own terms. It's going to look different for everyone.
Don't be scared to say I need help.
With us all together as one, we can change this.
I don't even know. No one asked for this, and it sucks that this happens. But we can all do better.
On a side note, I have to applaud women that speak up for themselves against sexual harassment and gender bias, especially at their workplace. Thank you.